The year is 1952. A man stands before an audience in Dublin, Ireland. "Now, what I'm about to say might sound crazy," he said. "But don't you think that scientific theories rely too heavily on speculation? After all, oftentimes these speculations contradict one another. But what if they didn't have to? What if all possible outcomes of reality exist simultaneously, parallel to one another in different pockets of time and space?" The crowd sat, stunned.
"Professor Schrodinger!"
cries one man in attendance.
"What the hell are you saying?"
"I'm saying," said Schrodinger, "that I believe in alternate realities." What I just read was a highly abridged account of a lecture famed scientist Erwin Schrödinger made in 1952, where he postulated that all quantum possibilities could exist in tandem with one another by way of alternate universes. In these alternate universes, every possible outcome of every possible cause is present, numbering them a veritable infinity. And in today's day and age of the internet, the idea of fictional characters and places existing in these theoretical alternate universes grows more and more appealing. But the theory has always been just that, a theory. After all, Schrödinger didn't invent the idea of alternate universes. The notion extends as far back as pre-Socratic philosophers. And as far as modern science is seen, we have discovered no definitive evidence that proves the existence of alternate worlds. But what if I told you that it was all real? That it was possible for the world of the abstract and our world to merge together? And what if I told you that such a dimensional merge was coming very soon? Or maybe not. That's all according to massively notorious internet celebrity Christopher/Christian/Christine Weston Chandler, more commonly known as Chris Chan. Now, come on, you clicked on the video, you know who Chris Chan is, and more than likely you know a fair bit about the Chris Chan lore. I'm not about to do a full recounting, but for our purposes, one of Chris Chan's theories involves a phenomenon he describes as the dimensional merge. This will occur when our reality, which he has dubbed Dimension 1218, will become one with Dimension C197, a reality in which all fictional and original characters reside. And while it was true that Chris believed in multiple universes prior to his trolling by the Idea Guys, it was only after that he believed that those universes would soon collide. Now, if you're any particularly sane human being, you would instantly dismiss all this as, well, pardon my French, complete bullshit. But what if Chris Chan is right? According to him, the merge will result in 41% of human life being wiped from the face of the earth, and this is the best outcome. And as much as I'd like to join the majority in dismissing another of Chris's empty ramblings, maybe this is something too dangerous to ignore. So, okay, I'm about to do what no sane human being has ever done. I am going to analyze, pick apart, and dissect every detail of Chris Chan's gospel to answer the question, what if Chris Chan is right? Just a note here, I'm aware that Chris's current pronouns are she, her. I will not be respecting these for the duration of the video, because I do not believe that individuals who take sexual advantage of their elderly parents should be allowed such a courtesy from me. Please understand I mean no offense, but on this, my mind is clear. Thank you. Now, a good place to start with arguments for the dimensional merge are with proven science and verifiable evidence. I'm gonna veer into pretty nerdy territory with this one, but don't worry, I'll make it as entertaining as I possibly can. The first of our verifiable claims comes from experiments carried out by Stephen Feeney sometime around 2010. His evidence comes from something called the Wilkinson Microwave God damn it. The Wilkinson Microwave Anisotropy Probe, or WMAP. Both of these names are dumb. I hereby rename the WMAP Shadow the Hedgehog. Can you see all of me? Walk into my mysteries. Shadow was a NASA spacecraft operating in the mid-2000s that is mostly responsible for our current model of the universe, the Lambda CDM model. This is another dumb science name, and we will now call it Rouge the Bat. Rouge is the current stats we know about our universe, including things like age, expansion rate, and temperature. Around 2010, Feeney discovered what he claimed to be proof of our universe colliding with others in the distant past. However, what seems to be a solid lead is struck down not too long after when other scientists held both Shadow and Rouge under closer scrutiny, leading to the conclusion conclusion that Feeney's claims were false. Another popular theory about the existence of multiple dimensions is that some evidence of them existed close to the date of the universe's creation. However, what evidence might have existed at this point in time is unfortunately gone. And unfortunately, this is where the trail goes cold. In all my research, I couldn't find any other notable high-profile multiverse theories. But if you think I'm just gonna call it a day, then check the runtime on this video. So now that the power of science has unfortunately failed us, we must turn to the darkened world of rumor and myth. The village of Woolpit is a quiet little town just outside of Suffolk in England. The Middle Ages are at their height, and so is the bustle of your busy little town. You are a woodcutter's wife, taking a rest from your daily duties to gaze out into the streets of your lovely rural town. Your eyes flit from one thing to another until you see them. Two small children, skin of vibrant greens, stand in the streets amidst the chaos, one boy and one girl. And they just stare at you. And they are unlike anything you have ever seen before. That is the beginning of a legend known as the Children of Woolpit, a hotly debated tale of the Middle Ages, wherein a mysterious duo of green-skinned children are taken in by the locals of Woolpit. The legend states that neither child spoke English, but an otherworldly, strange tongue. And when the children were eventually taught English, they told tales of their home, a strange world covered in twilight, where the sun never shone. They spoke of a river that took them to their new home in our world, and more than once expressed a desire to go back. Stories like this, and particularly because we can't decide almost 1,000 years later if it's real or not, really highlight how little we know about our own reality. The philosopher René Descartes even posited that our world as we know it might not even exist. That is, only existing as the dream of a sleeping god. And the reality is, we'll never really know if he's right or not. Most scientists agree that we only know, at best, 5% of our universe. That's over 5,000 years of civilized research, and we only know 5%? And so, the possibilities of other universes existing could be higher than we think. What if everything we couldn't explain throughout history, every legend, myth, and anomaly, could be explained by other worlds bleeding into ours? Individuals like the Green Children of Woolpit only being casualties in merges between our dimensions. Think of all the questions this would answer. Think of all the lives that could be saved in preparing for the dimensional merge. Think of how Chris Chan will rise to become the god of this new world, shedding away his old form and adopting something else entirely. We will live in harmony with the creatures of our imagination, ruled over by a benevolent god king that will mete out justice and security to his new reality. We will bask in the glory and triumph of the dimensional merge, is what I would say if a third option did not exist. A reality much darker and more disturbing than any fantastical doctrine of multiverses. Stan Romanek is a strange individual. He first rose to prominence in the early 2000s, becoming famous for his outlandish claims of being abducted by aliens, implanted with strange artifacts, and even fathering 9 alien-human hybrid children.
You just chill, dude. Fuck.
He even wrote several books and obtained widespread fame through a series of appearances on popular talk shows. In 2013, he even starred in a documentary detailing his extraterrestrial experiences. This man had it all: fame, recognition, status, wealth, all done through his claims that were what many would consider, at the very least, highly questionable. And to be fair, Stan was far from the only one doing this. Plenty of people in the 70s and 80s claimed to have extraterrestrial experiences for fame and money. But what most people realized is that it didn't matter if Stan and every other alleged abductee were conning or genuine, because in the end, his wild stories and theories were ultimately harmless. Stan Romanek was harmless, wasn't he? On August 8, 2017, Stan Romanek was found guilty of possessing child pornography. It turned out that, after all, Stan wasn't harmless. And he had everything: fame, wealth, standing, but somehow it just wasn't enough for him. And while I'm not a psychologist, I have to wonder what truly believing in these wild, self-made theories does to the human mind. You see, the more I worked on this video, the less it became about whether or not Chris Chan was right about any dimensional merge. Instead, I began to find out how people start to behave once they abandon the rules of our reality. Tales of UFOs and fictional worlds becoming reality are almost innocent, childlike even. Personally, I'd like nothing more than to join Fairy Tail in their fight against Dr. Eggman alongside Master Chief. If any dimensional merge were to happen, well, I'd be a very happy man, sincerely. But to believe in such things is to abandon the laws governing reality and, even worse, morality. Chris Chan has deluded himself to the point that he can do whatever he wants as long as he has some bizarre justification, including taking sexual advantage of his elderly mother. This, too, is another one of Chris's strange doctrines, claiming that his mother is some sort of alternate reality lover. And all of that is, well, I'll be straight with you, it's bullshit. But, of course, you already knew that. Chris Chan is a very sick individual, and that's not entirely his fault. Chris is a known autist, and throughout his life, he's gone through some very harrowing trauma. He's been dogged by relentless trolling all his life. But the only thing he's chosen to do with that trauma is to push deeper in. He's now entrenched in his wild theories, proclaiming them as gospel to his followers. And I just can't help but think that it doesn't have to be this way. When people abandon their reason, they become capable of things so much darker. It calls to mind a quote from the late magician James Randi: "The sleep of reason brings forth monsters." Randi was a man who spent his life busting wannabe psychics and con men, believing that there was something truly dark to be found in the absence of logical thinking. And that's all we're seeing with Chris Chan's dimensional merge theory. A sick man trapped in a world of his own imagination while his real life crumbles around him. And in spite of all the fun we can poke at Chris Chan, that is a very sad reality that none of us can escape. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you sticking all the way to the end. And since you did, it wouldn't hurt to sub and like, and I worked hard on this video. But as always, love you, fuck you, stay safe, goodbye.